Good evening, and welcome to the Rowley Board of Selectmen meeting of December 22nd, 2014. I call the meeting to order at 7:02. Just as a reminder, this meeting is being video and audio recorded digitally.
Thank you.
Nathan, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Right there.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Nate. The chairman has no comments tonight. And citizens' query will start at 7:05 and end at 7:15. We have two appointments tonight. Appointment one is at 7:15 for Harbor Master Bill Demento for update on dock project. And appointment number two is at 7:30 p.m. Highway Surveyor Patrick Snow for upgrade on Central Street project. So we'll go down to the general business. Actually, I think I'll move down to old business. And item number one is flea market license application from Nate Comley for 286 Main Street. So we go to new business.
Open that door, please. We can't keep it shut. Open meeting, we have to have it open.
Okay.
Thank you.
Old business number one is a flea market license application from Nate Comley for 286 Main Street. Building Inspector Ken Ward has received the flea market license application. Ken will be here tonight to discuss this application. Mr. Comley has sent the selectmen a letter, which arrived in today's mail. Letter is attached. Okay. That's the blank envelope, and it was to the selectmen's office. Is that the two-page letter, Nate, that you wrote? It's actually addressed to Ken Ward?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
I just CC'd it over.
Okay, thank you. Okay. This letter is actually to Ken Ward, Building Inspector, Town of Rowley, 39 Central Street, Rowley, Mass. Dear Mr. Ward, background, as you know, the Todd Farm Flea Market has become a very popular event to the public and draws a great deal of business to the town. Parking had become a serious problem 3 years ago, and rather than having cars towed off my property on a regular basis, I decided to help find a solution to this situation by opening up my land for parking. It has been well received by all the neighbors and especially the Todds. We recently cleared a large section of land in the back and planted grass to create a desirable look to the neighborhood. As you might know, our family has been strong supporters of open space over the years. To maintain the open space, we must be able to draw income to cover taxes and maintenance to the land. Through our efforts to provide the parking and talking with people Sunday mornings has sparked an interest of vendors to be able to set up small tables to complement and enhance the event. Current situation. In addition to my current junk dealer license, I have taken the steps required to have the town approve an additional flea market license. I have received a very positive response from the fire chief and Chief Barker, who actually met with me. We walked the property, identified the entrance and exit, and he felt it would work very well. I also met with the Board of Health, who has no issues with my plan. At a recent selectmen's meeting Monday night, December 22nd, I thought there was much positive feedback. Before final approval, they referred the matter to you, the building inspector. Final steps. You have asked me to send you this letter summarizing these things where these things stand to a question in the zoning laws. In reading the district zoning laws, section 4.4.1, outlying district, I feel my request falls within the guidelines that read, the outlying district is intended as an area of low-density residential recreation, conservation, agriculture, and similar uses compatible with a rural area. I feel that the town, as it stands now, will benefit from the open space I have provided to the public and help reduce the impact on the neighborhood, traffic, parking, etc. I would ask you to consider approving a flea market license for my property at 286 Main Street as a compatible use to the area. Respectfully, Nate Comley. Okay. You got any comment, Ken?
It's a great letter. I received it this morning as well. I had the chance to talk to Nate last week, and that's why I asked him to put it in writing, because I wanted it in writing, and I will respond to it. But basically, what I told him in the meeting that we had, and subsequently I told his brother the same thing, unfortunately, it's not allowed under our zoning bylaws, the use of that property. The only thing he can do in the outline would be agriculture. But if you look on uses permitted in all districts, agriculture, you have to have 5 acres of land. That lot is less than an acre. 286 is less than 1 acre. So, I mean, I agree that it solves a traffic issue down there. I'm not getting into the parking aspect of it. That's not I have nothing to do with the parking. But the only thing I can say is you gotta change the bylaws. The zoning bylaws have to be changed in order to allow that. Whether I want to allow it or not, I can't go by, I can't not enforce what the zoning bylaws are. Can't do it. And like I said, the agricultural exemption, 40A, which I gave you a copy of, I believe they reduced it to 2.5 acres, but you still need.
Maybe.
Yeah, it was 5 acres, but I think they might have reduced it to 2.5. But you have to grow crops also to get the agricultural exemption. It's pretty complicated. The other thing is, when I checked the junk dealer's license, the junk dealer's license is for 280 Main Street, not 286 Main Street. So I'm a little bit confused. It's the junk dealer's license says 280 Main Street, and it's the Bargain Hut Realty.
Right.
Okay.
I think what it is you got 280, and because of mailing reasons, we put a number on that building, which is right next to it, but we own the whole parcel. It was put at 286 Main is what the physical mailing address
But
was.
they've never been combined though, Nate, because they're still shown separate on the tax maps.
Okay.
They're individual parcels. The 280 is a little over an acre. 286 is a little less than an acre, and then you've got the parcel out back, but they're all separate parcels.
Right.
So I don't know whether that was supposed to be for, so you're saying it was for 260? I mean 280, the junk dealer's license.
Yeah, because the property was,
Okay.
at 280 Main Street.
Well, that's just another issue that's got to be straightened out.
I believe, Nick, that was the whole parcel when your dad bought it.
I think what happened, and I think he might have put the other one into a trust from the apartment buildings.
Yeah, there's 2 separate lots,
Yeah.
so, and basically,
Actually, there's 3 separate lots, because then there's the big lot
Right.
out
yeah,
back.
then they added the third
Yeah.
lot, which
Third
was
lot out
Wagner's
back
lot,
is-
Yeah.
Yeah.
270. That's number 270, Main Street, so.
So unfortunately, I don't see it allowed in the outlying district. I don't see it allowed as an agricultural exemption right now, the way it is. If you had more land and you actually grew something there, then I think that could be considered, but
It's not allowed by zone.
I don't see how it can be allowed right now. Like I said, I think the recourse change the zoning.
Okay, is there any comment from the board?
To, to do that, Ken, would it be up to Mr. Comley to apply to get a petition to change that bylaw?
Yeah, well, the way
Now,
it works is.
what does that consider of him doing right now? I mean,
He can start a petition, but eventually it has to go before the planning board. He can come down and work with us when we have our zoning review board meeting. And eventually what it has to be approved at town meeting. That's the only way it
Right.
gets changed.
All it is a couple of public hearings. And then we can insert the wording to get it passed by town meeting. That's basically it.
Yeah, that's the way you go about changing stuff.
well, the thing it is too, I was a big supporter last week of doing this. I didn't think there'd be a problem, Ken, bringing it up and whatever.
Yeah. But like I say,
The thing it is, right across the street, the Todd Farm been running for years. You know, you throw a rock across their property.
Yeah.
What he's looking for, I know what you're gonna say, it's gotta be a change, whether the people voted or whatever. But I think if Nate understands what you're saying, goes to a couple of hearings, I mean, to prepare it with you fellas, goes through the planning board first. Would that be correct?
Yeah.
To start.
I mean, that's the open public hearing
Right.
process. And
Yeah.
that's why zoning is basically codified or agreed to by the townspeople.
Yep.
And then it ends up at town meeting. But like I say, the zoning review committee will be glad to work with them. We'll let you know when our meeting
And the
is.
planning board as well.
So that's my next step, is to get with the planning board.
Well, yes, Nate, when I send you a letter, you always have the right to appeal my decision to the Board of Appeals. I'm not telling you not to do that, but what I'm suggesting is the way to solve the problem, okay, for everybody involved, is to change the zoning. That would be the way to solve it for everybody, because I agree. Todd Farm is right there. Unfortunately, that's grandfathered.
And you're exactly right. It's been going on for years. It's grandfathered for
Yeah.
years.
Yeah. So if we can get the zoning changed, then it won't be an issue. And we won't have to worry about the agricultural. And everybody's gonna get along, and nobody's gonna sue anybody, and everybody gets what they want.
That's a route to go, Ken, I would say.
That's what I think, yeah.
Question, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
When you say change zoning, exactly how are you looking to change it?
Well, what you'd do is we'd add a section, be it through see the uses in the outlying district, part of the site plan is approved by the planning board. You could do site plan, or you could even do a special permit if you wanted to have flea markets or anything like that. That could be added. Right now, we have them in the central district, which is because I believe they're business. However, okay, you have Todd Farm there, and
In
I
essence,
would
it is
su- I would-
it is a business. yeah.
But I would support that. But you've gotta have a way to get it in, you've gotta have a way to get it in there, and I think the way would be through the planning board.
The outlying district is just about the whole town, right, outside of,
Outside of the central and the residential little area with the.
So if anyone chose to do extensive parking in the outlying district, it would be associated with a business that was approved by zoning.
See, and that's why site plan is important, because only the planning board has jurisdiction over parking.
but if we authorize, if we change the zoning, just a question, I understand, he's in a pickle at the moment. My question is, if you live in the outlying district off of, well, I live on Newbury Road, for instance. If we authorize flea markets in the outlying district, does that mean that someone can come along and
correct.
that owns a big lot and put a flea market on
That's
Newbury Road or
correct.
Boxford Road? or
Mahaffey's could
Yep.
do it, yeah.
Anybody?
Yep.
Well, I don't mean to
That-
put
that's-
a name, but anybody who
Yeah,
has a
yeah,
name.
That's why it has to go to town meeting for a vote.
I mean, so my concern is you're taking one little situation and you're gonna potentially impact, the whole town.
That's what zoning is.
No, I understand. No, I understand, and I'm just making it aware that it sounds like a simple zoning change, but probably opening a barrel of.
And you
can of
can't
worms.
necessarily spot zone for one
No, I-
landowner,
no, I
that's why you
understand.
petition it, I mean, you
I,
can't,
although,
because the state wouldn't, it wouldn't be passed, then the AG's office has to approve it.
although you make a good point, Dave, but
I'm just asking the question.
most people don't have that big of an area. If they combine that lot, they would have a pretty good sized area there.
So how big an area would you need, Ken?
Well, you can do it on the lot that he has
Well,
now.
I know, but
If
I'm
you can-
thinking about other, as Dave brought up, other areas in town. If somebody had an acre of land,
5 acres. of
Okay.
land.
And they wanted to do it.
And they
but-
wanted to do
But
it.
that's why it has to go through the planning board.
it has to go through the planning board, but still,
It's a family.
they could, I mean,
Yep.
most of the town is in the outlying, like
Yeah, that's
80% of the town.
Yeah, that's
So I
correct.
mean, this has a ripple effect and could affect
Yeah, definitely.
everybody in the outlying area.
That's correct.
I mean, I'm not trying to take away from
Nope.
Nate's
Yeah,
position
that's-
here.
That's correct.
But, I mean, we're,
That's why we have grandfathered businesses in the outline, because they're grandfathered.
yeah.
It's a bunch of them.
Is there any type of special permit that I could apply for?
I don't do special permits or variances. That's either the Board of Appeals or Planning Board.
And that might be another, that, you actually brought up a good point. You know, maybe put it in as by special permit.
Well, that's what
That's
I
a
said.
way of,
Well, I think you gotta, I think,
no, that, David, what, that kind of, gives the planning board latitude, so it's not like a blanket.
yeah, I think you need some way of.
By special permit would be a good
of honing
idea.
this down to, I mean, yeah, it's gonna take a little bit of time, well, obviously not gonna do it tonight,
This is
but
definitely
certain types
something,
of restrictions, 'cause otherwise, you know,
this is definitely something we'll have to talk about.
I find neighborhoods are gonna have a hard time. 'cause
Oh, a very hard time. I mean, a lot of people be up in arms if they think that, you
No,
know,
but
living in the
by, if
outlying
it's
and
by
something
special
could
permit,
happen.
then you can look at each individual case.
Yeah, that would
Which can be good, it can be bad, so.
specific.
Yeah,
Well,
and
I'm-
with,
I'm-
with the criteria that you're using, you know, it's across the street, stone's throw.
I'm just giving
That-
them,
that would take
I'm
your
just giving
No, I
them
understand, it's not your,
options.
it's not your problem, Ken, other than you've,
No, but
Represent
special,
us, but-
that's why they have by special permit in these tables, you know? By use
yeah, I would
table.
suggest just go meet with the zoning review committee and see what you come up with.
But it's not as onerous a process as people think. It's, you know,
Oh, no, we've
it's
changed.
not. I
We
mean,
should look at that 406.
if things need to be changed, you change them. I mean, you identify it and you, it's just a couple of hearings. It just, I mean, it's not.
Well, the other
But
thing
we
too,
don't
you
know how
could-
much pushback you're gonna
Yeah,
get.
assuming you get,
Yeah, we don't know how much.
Well, that's why the public, you know,
Yeah,
the other thing you could do is set too, is an acreage size too. I mean, most house lots and
Yeah.
vicinity up through Dave's, go to Mahaffey, they got 20, 30 acres. You'd have to maybe have a minimum of 4 acres.
it's
you know.
definitely something that we'll have to talk about.
Yeah,
What's the possibility of looking at extending the central district?
all kinds of possibilities, I would just suggest that we take a vote one way or the other and refer it to the zoning review committee, and let them come up with
I
a
think he,
hopeful solution.
you probably want to meet with them, but you may want to run it by planning first.
I mean, well,
Good. I mean, you can,
they can
you
do a
gotta judge
citizen's
that.
petition. I mean, they can just bring it and say they want to do it, and the zoning committee has to agree to bring it up.
Mhm.
Okay.
Once you do it, and it's a benefit to the town, then just do it. Just has to be written up properly.
I would suggest, Mr. Conlon, maybe you just withdraw your request at this time and go back and talk with the planning board and the building inspector and the review committee and come
What
up
was
with a,
that
see if
about
you
the
can come up with a
agricultural?
solution.
Should they combine, I mean,
Well, they,
saying get 5 acres?
he always has the route, if he combines it, to go the agricultural, but then you get into the situation where if you read the agricultural 40A, you have to grow a certain amount of crops for a certain amount of,
Right.
you know, I mean,
I know
it's,
that.
it's,
It gets very
yeah,
complicated.
exactly, and I'd rather see if we could get the zoning.
Try the zoning and then go from there.
Yeah.
How many acres altogether?
I'm saying there's probably close to 8.
8 acres all there,
Close to,
3 combined, maybe?
yeah, with the 3 combined.
3 combined.
And it's one ownership, or is it just
Well, it's,
still a family?
it's the family.
Yeah.
It's the family owns the land. And
Yeah.
if we need to jockey some stuff around to combine
Fit it.
or whatever, I mean, I'm sure we can do that. So, anybody got any other suggestions?
Sounds like you're,
No, but we'll discuss it. I mean, I'll bring it up. You know, we'll look at, like I've been discussing it with Ken to see how, you know, right? We-
yeah, yeah.
Okay. So you're gonna reply to me.
Yeah, as
Letter.
soon as we set up a zoning board meeting, I'll let you know. I'll reach out to you and let you know.
Review committee meeting.
Review committee, yeah.
And that would be the first step.
Yeah.
And I believe
Or should I meet with you?
I believe Chairman Mary is the chair also of the zoning review committee.
Well, so far.
You can't duck out now.
Mr. Chairman, just, we need to remember that as we approach the end of December, if there are going to be any zoning changes, the planning board jumps into the month of January and starts their planning, because this all has to be, if it's gonna be vetted and reviewed by the town's attorney, hearings and all that, by the middle to end of March, those warrant articles have to be in pretty good form by then. So you probably wanna start planning.
It's possible by the end of March.
To be completed.
Well-
Because the warrant will be finished
By the end of March, by
early April.
yes. Well,
So
it would be a push.
I just
but
think that
yeah.
if, maybe the planning of what's coming forward
We
on the
meet-
warrant can
We
start
meet
to be.
roughly every 2 weeks, so we just have to.
No, I know, and you have an
But with
excellent
public hearing, we
planner
gotta
to
get it in, yeah.
facilitate, but we just need to think about that.
I am Art.
Go back to your board and see what the feeling is about it. I'll get that.
All right, so,
Okay, is there anything
David,
else?
you bring up good points.
I guess you would you like to withdraw the application at this time, and you can bring it back at a later time, depending on?
There are a few little tweaks that need to be done to the application in general, right? So if you wanted to
Yeah.
just withdraw it, put it on hold at this point, get those minor things taken care of with the application itself, and then we can go forward and see, we can get them, probably won't be till after the first of the year that we can get a zoning review committee together because of the holidays, but once that happens, we'll try to get that committee to meet again and try to get some input from them.
Sounds good to me.
The next planning board meeting is the 14th of January.
Okay?
Yeah, we'll see if we can get a zone review committee meeting beginning of January.
Yeah.
I'll get on Kirk
Yeah.
to get it set
We
up.
can get.
You need a motion,
The
Mr. Chairman,
planner,
to,
he's the one who's gonna get it.
I think
Just
we should have an official
He can help
vote,
you out a
yeah.
lot.
I'll make a motion that we
Well, he really can.
allow
He can
Mr.
help you out.
Conley to
He can
withdraw
help you out a
his
lot.
application at this
I
time.
have a planner. He's-
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded.
Chairman, I'll tell
Any
him.
further discussion?
Appreciate
All
it.
those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. So,
Thank
I
you.
appreciate your time and your help.
thank you.
You're welcome. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you all. And I'll see you next year.
Thank you, Ken, thank you. Merry Christmas.
Thanks, Gary. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Family home.
Merry Christmas. Yeah, I'm going to New York to see Nick, so.
All right. Good to see you.
Merry Christmas.
Thank
See you, Bob.
Merry
Merry Christmas. Thanks, Jack. Good luck.
Citizen queries over.
Maybe.
Just an announcement, citizen query is over,
What time are you here in the morning?
When I get here.
and the time being
It's a mystery.
7:25.
It's a mystery.
We have a public hearing at 7:15 with Harbor Master Bill Vento to update dock project.
Thanks, Pat. Thanks, Bill.
Excuse my scribbles. Thanks, Bill.
Thank you.
Debbie and her crew were great help in putting out the bid for the docks. We came close, but not quite there.
Okay, let me just read the bid documents that came back. And the prices for the dock gangway project came in over budget. The project budget is $25,000. J&L Welding and Machine, $51,540. Marblehead Marine Construction, Inc., $39,410. And Custom Float Services, Inc., $31,855. We need to discuss other options tonight. You're on the floor, Bill.
Okay. What I'm going to recommend, unless you've got a better idea, and open to suggestions, is that we split out the aluminum gangway and attack that at next town meeting. And put the bid out again for just the floats. Just the float section, you can see the low bid was $27,405, the high bid was as high as $47,500. Very familiar with Custom Float. They're very professional, do a great job, make a beautiful product, and very competitive. And comfortable that by pulling the gangway out, and I've also emailed Debbie earlier in the day to pull out 2 custom attachments, dock attachments, that would attach these things to, one to the wharf and one to the bulkhead. And we can have those fabricated right here in town through some volunteer stuff and take care of that. So by knocking those 3 pieces out of this and rebidding just the dock systems, I feel comfortable that we'll be just about there. And that would be my recommendation.
Sounds like a plan. Is there any comment from the board?
So Bill, on your drawing
Yep.
here, you're knocking out exactly what?
What I'd be taking out is a 4x21 section of aluminum gangway,
Okay.
custom fabricated aluminum. And we put this back out, I bring this back to town meeting to get that approved.
Okay.
And the 2 attachments, is an attachment here, custom fabricated, and an attachment here, custom fabricated, that are a little bit overkill, and I've eliminated them from the bid spec. We can put these together ourselves pretty easily. And we're not replacing these out here. We are replacing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 float sections.
Now, is this gonna, the float that's broken, that's this one here?
The float that
that'll
was
be-
broken that you
the
saw
gang-
was this way, not the gangway. The gangway is not in the best of condition, but
Okay.
we could get by with it
Okay.
until we're able to replace it with the aluminum.
Okay.
So that would be my proposal, unless someone has a better one.
Mr. Chairman, I had
Yes.
discussions with the harbor master on this project, and it seems, you know what, I learned a lot as well. Dock companies that make the docks, not necessarily make gangways, because it's different, it's metal and it's sent out and
Yeah, gang-
subcontracted out anyway. So this wouldn't be an issue of concern for me as the chief procurement officer as splitting the bid in any way, because there are different companies that, you know, produce and manufacture different components to a docking and gangway system. So
Right.
we did the whole specification for the entire unit, but I think looking at it this way, you know, we can at least get the docks in, which are, I think, the crucial part right
Right.
now for the town.
Yeah, the difference between the dock and the gangway, Deb, is that docks float, gangways don't.
I'm a sailor, I do know.
And she's right in that the gangway is aluminum.
Yep.
And interestingly enough, the J&L Welding, they are fabricators, and they do fabricate the aluminum dock themselves. The others subcontracted out to fabricators. So I was actually impressed. They're all very, very close.
Yeah.
Even being subcontracted out. So what I'd like to do is propose to split the bid in 2, not equally, obviously, to rebid the float system separate from the gangway system. The gangway, ideally what we do is solicit bids for the gangway that would be accurate to and through up to probably May town meeting, if they were willing to hold their prices. That way the work is done. The same people would be bidding on it. I did want to add one other vendor that's come to me on the dock systems, local here in town, Brian Quinn Construction. So I can send you an email tomorrow with his information.
Sure. But I just want to clarify, you want to still issue without an appropriation, a solicitation for the gangway? Or do you want to wait and just use those estimates, go to town meeting, and then once we get the funding?
We could do that and then go out to bid. Yeah, we could do that. We can wait. That's fine. Yeah, because we don't have the appropriation, you're absolutely
Yeah, well, I'm
correct,
just,
yeah,
some
yeah.
vendors, well, I think that's misleading and think they're gonna get the work.
Very astute on your part. Yeah,
We
yeah.
can use your research into what we've found to be the,
Yeah,
and
good
use
idea.
those numbers, I think.
Good idea.
Okay,
Well, I like that suggestion,
all
Deb.
right.
So,
Any further question?
Oh, looks good.
Entertain a motion to split the bid
I'll make that
and put it back out.
I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded. Any further? Anything, comments? All those in favor? Yes. Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Sounds like a
One
good
other-
plan, Bill.
One other brief update is the wharf repair, the route repair project. Those quotes should be in very shortly. I'd hope they'd be in sooner than now. But been through the process with Conservation Commission, got the DEP permit, so that process is all set up to go through. It's just waiting for the final bids, and I'll share those with you as soon as they come in.
Okay, sounds great.
Okay?
Thank you, Bill.
Great, Paul.
Happy holidays, Merry Christmas to all.
Thank you.
You too.
You too.
Yes, you too.
Enjoy. Take care. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Bill. Thanks, Bill.
And thanks, Deb.
Hey, Merry
Okay.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
So that one's done. Our next appointment is at 7:30, and the time being 7:33. Highway Surveyor Patrick Snow for update on Central Street project. Okay. Pat Snow, Debbie, and Bob Mary met with Norman Brown from Bayside Engineering earlier this month. We started to outline the components to the Central Street project. The first step is to hold an informational meeting to familiarize the public with the project goals and design parameters. We propose that the board hold this meeting in late January and suggest a meeting date of January 26th. We will need to send out a flyer. The board received copies of the draft flyer last week. And they were in your packets. I don't know if everybody's had a chance to read it. But it kind of lays out the scope of the project and gives the public a chance for some input. Pat, can you add anything?
Not really. The flyer is pretty self-explanatory. It will be mailed to all of the abutters who live on that area of Central Street. And it gives them a comment section, and obviously everybody's invited to the hearing when we set the date for it, for them to voice their concerns, or, you know, as long as if they're in favor for it, or however they want to put it. We feel, down at the Highway Department, we're feeling very good about this. We haven't felt any opposition from the state about it. They're looking forward to it. They just want to hear back from the abutters on that road and the townspeople and make sure that they're for it. So if we get this, I mean, it could be a huge savings to the town.
Okay. And actually, with the notice going out, there is an application that if somebody, for whatever reason, could not make the meeting, they can write comments down and send those back in, or drop them off, or whatever. So we can hopefully get a lot of good feedback from that. Is there any other questions or concerns?
Looks good.
Looks good.
Okay. Well, that was easy, Pat.
That was.
So are we scheduling that for the 26th?
26th,
Definitely? Need a
yes.
motion for that, or?
Yeah, we probably should do that.
Give you that motion?
Yes, we should.
Yeah, a motion. I have a
I'll
motion.
second it.
Got a motion and it's seconded. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. So it looks like we're on for the 26th. Now, I
Yep.
want you to make sure we don't have any snow that day.
I'll try.
Mr. Chairman, on a logistical point, obviously, this is gonna be a large hearing in terms of the number of people, and Mr. Norman Brown, the
Yep.
engineer that we're working with, will be here, and there'll probably be some presentation made. Should the board consider holding this upstairs, and if so, that would have to be video recorded, not a live.
Right. I think we should hold it up in the auditorium because we will have probably a pretty good crowd.
Okay.
Uh,
All right,
And
and,
I think if we can get a video recorded, then we can play it back on RCM, so
Okay.
that people will be able to see it.
So we should plan on the Town Hall auditorium, and the 7 o'clock time is suitable for the board?
It's fine with me. Any objections to 7 o'clock?
No.
No, okay,
Okay.
all right.
Excellent. I'm just sticking around for one more thing, that's all.
Oh, okay, sorry about that.
No, no problem.
That's all, I'm through with the green folder, so that's all I care about. Okay, so that takes care of appointments. Okay, the next order is general business, and it's a vote to authorize Chairman Murray to sign Federal Police Department grant.
Need a motion, Mr. Chairman?
Well, let me just see what I've got here to read, Bob.
Oh, okay.
Okay, it's what I had said, and it's Chief Barker needs the Board of Selectmen to vote to authorize Chairman Murray to sign the federal JAG Law Enforcement Equipment Grant. After the board votes to authorize Chairman Murray to sign, he will sign the document in blue ink.
I will give you a motion, Mr. Chairman.
Second it.
I have my
You
blue
want me
ink.
to pass the blue pen to you?
No, I have the blue ink. So we're in really good shape here tonight, guys. All right, is there any discussion on that? It's free money, so there shouldn't be too much discussion. So, do I have a motion?
No motion.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Authorized official name printed. The deed is done. Okay, general business number 2 is vote to authorize Fire Chief, REMA Director James Broderick to sign MEMA Storm Fund Grant Package. Chief Broderick has received a package from MEMA, Massachusetts Emergency Management Agency, on the release of FEMA funds, Federal Emergency Management Agency, related to the 2010 storm. We need the Board of Selectmen to authorize Chief Broderick to sign off on the MEMA paperwork. The town is slated to receive $1,536.24. And there's a whole package here.
I give you that motion.
Okay, no further discussion?
I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor of authorizing Chief Broderick to sign the MEMA package signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. And I do not have to sign that one in blue. Okay. Old business, number 2. To Police Chief Robert Barker. Read 2015 liquor license renewals. All liquor licenses have been renewed for calendar year 2015, except for Skip's Country Store. Please see enclosed a copy of the liquor licenses issued for your file. So we have gone through all of the liquor licenses, and with the exception of one, they've all been renewed. Okay, old business number 3, Class 2 dealer's license. Renewals. Yep. The following license has been renewed and is in order with all taxes, water, and light bills paid. Please make a motion to approve and sign this license. Fred Hardy, Hardy's Auto Body. Note, Tim Watkins, Precision Volvo, has just submitted his renewal, which was received today, December 22nd, 2014. There is an outstanding water account on the amount of $116.75 and electric accounts in the amount of $325.96. So,
Mr. Chairman, I'll give you a motion to approve Fred Hardy Auto Body and Tim Watkins Precision Auto with his, once he's paid the outstanding funds due for the water and the electric light department.
okay.
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Old business item number 4, Class 3 dealer license renewals. The following license has been renewed and is in order with all taxes, water, and light bills paid. Please make a motion to approve and sign this license. Michael Bontos, Rowley Auto Parts.
I'll give you that motion.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All Class 3 renewals are now complete. Item 5, auto auction renewals. The following license has been reviewed and is in order with all taxes, water, and light bills paid. Please make a motion to approve and sign this license. Michael Bontos, Rowley Auto Parts.
Make that motion.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All auto auction renewals are now complete. Old business item number 6, stable license renewals. The following stable license renewals have been reviewed with all light, water, and taxes paid. Alexandra Arthurs, Clearview Farm, Richard Bertelson, 100 Weathersfield Street. Please vote to approve and sign the following stable license renewal is outstanding. Okay, K. St. Peter Blair, KSB Morgan's, 39 Kittery Avenue. Renewal has not been received. Called 12-2, 12-9, 12-15. No answer or voicemail to leave a message.
Give you a motion, Mr. Chairman, to approve Alexander Arthur's and Richard Bertelson's
I'll second it.
stable renewals.
Okay, motion made and seconded for the first two, which is 331 Weathersfield and 100 Weathersfield. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. And the other one we'll have to put on hold, I guess.
Yeah, there's no application,
There's
no renewals.
No, there's nothing been sent in, so. Okay. Why don't we, can you folks stay just maybe a few minutes after the meeting and sign these licenses? Make things go a little quicker here. Update on this Girl Scouts land. Okay. As of Wednesday, December 17th, 2014, the town owns 390 Weathersfield Street. Hoorah. It was a long, drawn-out affair, but we finally made it. Bill Brown has signed the caretaker's agreement. The board now needs to vote and sign it tonight. There are 2 originals for the board to sign. Also, Chairman Murray would like to express the Board of Selectmen's thanks and gratitude to 2 key department heads who provided invaluable support in this endeavor. Conservation Agent Brent Bazelak and Coordinator of Health Services and Regulatory Compliance Frank Menengiani. Chairman Murray is calling for a vote to send the Conservation Commission and Board of Health letters, respectfully thanking Brent and Frank for all their work on this project. Letter is attached and is to be signed tonight. The next step in this project is for Debbie to meet with the project team to start formalizing the criteria for the RFP. So,
Mr. Chairman, I'll give you a motion to sign the caretaker's agreement.
I'll second.
motion made and seconded. Any discussion? To sign the caretaker's agreement. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I have one question, Mr. Chairman, while you're
Yep.
signing that, as our highway surveyor is here, I know we had some concerns about snow plowing. Now that we own the property, we're responsible to plow out You met with the caretaker, I believe, Pat.
Yeah,
Give us an
I saw
update.
him today, we were up there today, we were just kind of getting an idea, and I spoke with Mr. Murray about it as well, about where we plow out, just so that, for fire access and so that the caretaker could get up to his home as well. As of right now, that upper parking lot, I believe if you stay to the right as you go up, it's pretty soft and muddy right now, so with your gentleman's approval, I'd like to purchase a few loads of pack
Yeah.
to spread out up there to kind of smooth it out for the winter and risk any damage to any of the equipment going up and out of there.
Makes sense.
There's two originals.
Oh, is it two originals on the caretaker?
Yeah, I didn't sign a second one either.
I didn't hear you, Pat, I'm sorry.
Mr.
We just
Chairman,
like
you
to
do
buy
have
a few loads of
Mr.
pack to spread
Mr.
out
Snow?
up at the top
Yes.
especially.
I think that's a good
It's
idea.
soft up
No,
there,
I think
and
we need
tune
to
up
do
the
it.
driveway going up.
Yeah,
Do you have funds for that?
I was curious whether we could use the town land maintenance account for that, where it is town land now.
This guy's creative, you know that? He waited for us to buy it.
I don't know what your balance is.
I have
in
to
that
look at it, I'm
account.
pretty sure there's enough money in that account right
Yeah.
now to take care of that and to get through the rest
Well,
of it.
why don't we leave it this way,
Because you
Pat?
weren't planning on that.
No, I
when
wasn't.
we did the budget
I
last
wasn't, to be
February.
honest with you. I mean, I could definitely look at it unless,
How much are we talking?
we're talking probably about $1,500 for 3 trailer dumps to go up there and dump it, and we'd spread it out. It will definitely use it up there, it's very soft. 15 at most, we're hoping less.
Need
Let's
a
put it
motion?
that way.
You have two copies,
I think
Bob.
we should, and
There's
we
two
should
copies.
also
Oh,
let
there's
the
two.
Conservation
Yeah,
Commission.
go to the
know.
other.
Although it
Yeah,
says
I'll
sign
let
here.
Right
Okay.
here.
I mean, we could, with talking to the conservation, if you
No,
allow
it's towards the front.
ground
Toward the
hot
front?
top up
Yeah.
there, we could definitely
No,
save
you
some
won't,
money.
I'm sure
There
you
you
won't.
Ah, okay.
We got another one in the back, you know.
We
Yep.
tried that on the other one.
Okay.
Letters, I think, isn't it?
I'll give you a motion, Mr. Chairman, to authorize the highway surveyor to buy what he needs for pack, for the Girl Scout land to make it plowable for the winter.
Okay.
I'll second
And,
it.
and add to that and coordinate with the Conservation Commission, or Conservation
Yeah, two.
regarding the project.
Yeah, I don't think we're in issues
I don't think so
there.
either, but just
We're
to
not
make
close
sure.
enough, but we should run it by.
Yeah,
him.
almost
Yeah.
definitely.
Okay, anything, all in favor
Chairman?
of allowing the highway surveyor to,
I'm sorry, I didn't get a second, I didn't hear it.
Jacko.
Jacko, sorry.
Pat, you can't use the ground stuff up there.
All those
I
in
don't
favor?
think, Brent.
yeah, I haven't asked that yet.
Oh, okay.
This
We
is-
tried that on the water road.
We got a, you
Oh,
know,
I know.
we got a big pile that
I know.
we use it.
It's a problem everywhere now, I think, as far
Yeah.
as.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
kinda has to be in the perfect place to use that, from what I understand, so, I mean, I can ask.
Yeah,
He's
try
gonna
it and
say is
see.
no, you know.
You know the pile we got.
Oh, yeah, yep.
I guess it won't go, but near the end of the.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. And we have
Thank you.
the letter to send.
I'll give you a motion,
Have a
Mr.
Merry
Chairman.
Christmas,
to
everybody.
Merry
Christmas.
Christmas, Pat.
You guys.
I'll give you a motion to send the conservation agent, the coordinator of health services, a letter of thanks for all the work they've done.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried.
Mr. Chairman, could we read those letters into the record if we could?
Yes.
Because I actually want to express my thanks as well to the board for all the work that Brent Bazelak and Frank Marcangiani did. And you don't really see it, it's not tangible, but Brent had spent hours, you know, on long treks through the woodland area of this huge parcel, you know, looking for vernal pools, looking at the paths, meeting and working on the survey and the appraisal, and also the coordinator of health services and regulatory compliance, Frank Marcangiani, in his own sort of quiet way, had done so much work for this office in addressing issues with the public water supplier status of the wells that are there, and working with the facilities manager of the Girl Scouts property. He works in Boston, not a local person, and making sure that they got some things that needed to be updated, you know, brought up to date with the DEP. He also did extensive records search for the septic systems and things, and has been out at the site with the caretaker on many occasions So I just want to make sure the board really realizes that these two individuals have put a lot of time into this.
Right, they did. So this is to Doug Watson, Chairman, Conservation Commission, and it's repurchase of Girl Scout land and open space plan update. Dear Chairman, excuse me. Dear Chairman Watson, the Board of Selectmen wishes to express its thanks and gratitude to Conservation Agent Brent Bazelak for the work he did in facilitating the town's purchase of the Girl Scouts land at 390 Weathersfield Street. Brent spent many hours canvassing this property and researching the various characteristics that make this so unique. The magnitude of his assistance cannot be fully expressed. We also wish to formally convey our thanks and gratitude to Brent for his exemplary work in updating the town's outdated open space plan. Brent worked tirelessly for many months in pulling together records and data for the plan. This plan needed to be updated. We asked Brent to take on this project. Brent accepted this additional work without hesitation and did an excellent job in pulling this project together for the town. Please accept our sincere thanks and gratitude to Brent for this dedicated service to the town. Sincerely, Board of Selectmen. Okay. Charles Costello, Chairman, Board of Health. Dear Chairman Costello, the Board of Selectmen wishes to express its thanks and gratitude to Coordinator of Health Services and Regulatory Compliance Frank Menangiani for the work he did in facilitating the town's purchase of the Girl Scout land at 390 Weathersfield Street. Frank worked closely with the town administrator, Deborah Egan, on a variety of property issues such as resolving a well water issue to investigating and researching septic system records. When needed, he followed through directly with the Girl Scouts Facilities Director. Frank never hesitated to assist us and our staff. Please accept our sincere thanks and gratitude to Frank for his dedicated service to the town. So, and he did do an excellent job. I don't know what we'd do without him, to be perfectly honest with you. They step up every time. They really do.
Mm-hmm.
Sir?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome. Do it. Okay. All right, item number 8, under old business. Review and sign letter to EPA on NPDES general permit for small MS4 systems. This letter is a follow-up to the update on the imminent release of the National Pollution Discharge Elimination System general permit. Conservation Agent Brent Bazelak has drafted the attached letter to the EPA for the Board of Selectmen to review. A draft was provided to the Selectmen to review last week. Chairman Mary made one minor change. Otherwise, it is ready for the Board to sign tonight. Any discussion? Hearing none. Entertain a motion.
Make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
A second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Chairman?
Thank you, Boyd. No problem. Okay, old business item number 9. Selectman Dave Peterson to provide an update on Board of Water Commissioners December 16th, 2014 meeting. Selectman Peterson attended last Tuesday's Water Board meeting. He will update the selectmen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome.
At last week's meeting has culminated what has been a relatively long process since the hiring of the new water superintendent, and the water board really showing a complete lack of cooperation and lack of respect and a lack of the ability to work with the new water superintendent. The water superintendent was hired. She was interviewed by the personnel committee. Initial interview was conducted by Stu Dazzell, myself, town administrator, and
Dennis Roy.
Dennis Roy. And she was highly recommended, highly knowledgeable, has a history of working on water treatment plants, running large departments, et cetera, et cetera. Her name was presented to the water board at a meeting shortly thereafter, and she was unanimously appointed to the position. Since that time, however, she came in both feet in the ground running, because we had the $12 million water treatment plant up off of Pringley Farm Road that it was having some issues. With employment issues at the water department. We faced a host of budgetary issues, et cetera, and she basically knuckled down and has tried to go on all cylinders, and she's doing 10 jobs at once, in addition to the fact that the office administrative assistant up there has been out on extended sick leave. So she's basically been totally running the office, working with the primary operator, trying to get the plant going, dealing with budget issues, a variety of different issues. At last week's meeting, she was unable to attend, and Commissioner Toomey was also not there. However, she left a packet of information, as she does every meeting, for each of the commissioners. She gives them information ahead of time. And if one watches last week's meeting as well as previous week's meetings, even though she leaves a packet of information, it doesn't appear as though anybody even looks at the information until they sit at the table that night. As we all know, a great deal of this board's work, and what should be the water board's work, needs to be done before the meeting, and then you come in and have a discussion at the meeting to set the final policies and make reviews. Last week's meeting, she left a relatively thick package of information, as well as they had an interview of an operator they were going to be hiring. And it appeared to me, and I think anybody that watches the meeting, that these commissioners, the two commissioners, were totally unprepared. They, in terms of the appointment for the labor treatment operator, they were given a list of questions by the water superintendent, which she gives to them every time when they're interviewing somebody. They totally disregarded the questions, asked a couple of perfunctory questions, and voted to hire this person, which is fine. That's their right to do. When it came to the budget, she gave them a spreadsheet of where the budget sits and how it's being spent and things like that. They basically said, well, she's not here, they kind of held it up, and we don't even know what's in this document. We can't do much of anything with it. So that's the department that's running $12 million water treatment plant, as well as trying to run the distribution system, and they can't even read the budget documents without her assistance. When they were here at our meeting last week, on the night before that meeting, every time we asked the board members a question, they turned around and asked her to give the answer. And yet, constantly, they demean her, sabotage whatever work she brings in, question her, and kind of have their own agenda as far as items they want to deal with. The second item on the agenda was the public information request submitted by Commissioner Toomey. They tabled that because she wasn't there. That information was also in their packet, from what I understand. And that item should not even be on the agenda. It was a personal filing by Commissioner Toomey for a public records information request, and he's looking for the water board to either pay for that request, which is $300 and something. It's 10 hours of her time and all kinds of time from this office to put that whole package together. But that's his request, his personal request. It's up to him to pay that. It's not up to him to bring it to the water commissioners for them to either pay or ask for donations or whatever the situation may be. In addition, related to that was Mr. Toomey, who previously had filed with this, I guess with the Attorney General's office, or with a violation of the open meeting law. I know our town administrator and the staff here, as well as the water superintendent, spent a number of hours penning a request, a reply to that, submitted it to the water board, and we were also required to submit a copy to the Attorney General's office, which was done. And Mr. Toomey just let that whole thing drop when he realized that he's basically creating busy work for the superintendent's much too busy up there with the lack of help and the expertise she has and the issues in front of them to be doing busy work provided by one member of the water board. On the Pingree Farm Road upgrade, it was this office and people from this office, along with the work of the superintendent, that got that project going and completed, and that has been completed. The only thing the water board, I heard them have anything to say about it, was that the road up there really wasn't that bad. Well, if one looked at the road, one realized that the road was horrendous and should never have been let go to that point. Water treatment plant update, they really, once again, they really had no information, and until the water superintendent comes, they really know nothing. That's a $12 million plant that, you know, they're responsible for, but they really have no information on it. Same thing, the flushing update, they've flushed all the lines in town. That's been completed, to my understanding, and that kind of just sat there. They're more interested in, there was a new business. They had a high water bill. Previous week they had a rebate they wanted to give to somebody who complained about their water bill. They knew nothing about the heater in the garage over there, the waste line disposal, or the lead exceedance, and all issues that the water board should be looking at and dealing with. And the information was provided to them, but they had absolutely no information on it. It's the point, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Snow can back me up, and normally Larry wasn't there after that meeting, but normally Larry is at that, he's been just about.
I was there.
You were there at that one? Okay, I'm sorry, the meeting before you.
Just didn't see me.
No, you missed the one before. I'm getting confused on which meetings were there and which, but Larry White from the Finance Committee is there. And it's to the point where it's embarrassing to sit there and watch how they treat the superintendent, and we're gonna be in for a lawsuit, or worse, we're gonna lose her if they don't start working with her, cooperating with her, listening to what she has to say. I mean, she's got the information, she knows what she's doing, and we hired her because she was capable. And the last water superintendent we had used to sit up there, and in the last 2 or 3 years, he just sat there and mumbled, and they used to bring in the primary operator to answer all their questions. So we're far ahead of that, and I'm just concerned that I want the public needs to start watching whether they do or they don't. I'd like to emphasize tonight that the citizens out there need to start watching, if they don't already, the water board meetings. They need to let the water board know that, we have a $12 million plant, we have DEP breathing down our necks, We've got all kinds of, the budget season's coming up there, and the water board in general seems to just be kind of out to lunch on the whole thing. And even if, it's my own feeling, my personal feeling, I speak only for myself, that if these gentlemen can't handle the job, then they need to step aside so we can appoint someone up there who will work with the superintendent. I don't pretend she's perfect, none of us are, but she's certainly the only one that has any idea what's going on up there. And she constantly gets impeded and sabotaged and roadblocks and, extraneous requests from board members to do stuff that has nothing to do with the problems at hand. So I just wanted to make that presentation tonight and request that, the public take an interest in your water system, our water system, and your water bills. I mean, there's a good chance that there's gonna be some hefty rate increases come town meeting time when the budget comes in. And the people need to start paying attention, and we need a water board who's gonna pay attention to what they're doing. And if we have to have a rate increase, that's fine, we have a rate increase, but the way it's going right now is, we're gonna be lucky at this rate if we even have a water superintendent, if they keep up the shenanigans that they're dealing with. And I just wanted to make a public issue of that, and hopefully people will respond and either go to the water board meetings, write some letters, take a look, go back and look at the last, they're online at the Raleigh website. They can go back and watch the last 2 or 3 or 4 meetings.
RCM.
Yeah, and see what's been going on up there. We at this board have been dealing with the water department for, well, I've been here 2 years, and you guys have been dealing with it for, Bob says. A variety of issues. I mean, it isn't just one thing. It's issue after issue when we take 1 step forward and 2 steps back. And right now, we're at a critical stage with DEP and with the primary operators up there and running that plant as well as doing distribution work. And we can't be as a board. I don't think we should be able to tolerate, and the public certainly shouldn't tolerate what's going on up there. With that, I'll leave that on the table, but I think, Bob and I have been going to all these meetings with Larry, and I think both Bob and Larry will get back pretty much up what I'm saying, and if one watches the TV coverage of these meetings, and I think that, they kind of speak for themselves, but we're at a crisis point here, and the water board just doesn't seem to understand that what's going on, and I think I would encourage them to either get on the stick and work with her and work with us and work with the town to make this thing work, or step out of the way and let someone else do it. Thank you.
Are them live, Dave?
No, they're
Never
not.
on
They're
tape.
taped.
I never even-
They're
I
usually
never
on.
watched
They meet Tuesday night. The next meeting is January 13th,
No, I mean,
and they're on the night.
televised.
Yeah,
not live.
They record them, and they're usually
Oh, they
on
don't.
the very
They
next day.
record them though.
They're usually on Wednesday. If you watch them Wednesday, and they're replayed after that. But I know Wednesday.
I just to add to Selectman Peterson's statement, you need to watch the meetings. I've had several people stop me going through Market Basket. I've received a phone call at my house, and people were, and I'll have to drag my old word out, appalled, okay, at what they saw. I mean, it was the last meeting. You have to sit there and you need to sit down and watch this. And Selectman Peterson is absolutely correct. We have a $12 million investment. We have a very competent superintendent. And as we were sitting here or at the other meeting, some of it gets like a blur in some of these. They fight with the superintendent. We have a superintendent who knows what they're doing. And then we talked about flushing. And no, we don't need to do flushing. And what do? We saw the pictures of the flushing, didn't we? Brown water coming out. And then our commissioners, now I have to say, Commissioner Delzell, I've had many conversations with him. He's been cooperated. You can talk to Stu, and we talked about that adjustment on the bill. As I said a couple of weeks ago, I had a leak, and my bill came through and it was higher than normal. So I went and I checked and I found a leak in the faucet because over the winter when I turned it on, the gasket had frozen over time, and I had to replace it. And I paid the extra money on that. And here they are, they're talking about giving abatements up there. You need to watch the meetings at home. You need to watch on Wednesdays after there's been a water meeting. You need to watch these meetings and understand what's going on. It just can't be myself and Selectman Peterson and then coming back and giving reports all the time. This is a town effort.
It's our water system.
It's our water system.
It's the ratepayers' water system.
And if you've been watching the meetings here in the Selectman's office for the last 4 years, you know all the problems that we've gone through. But this needs to be a team effort, everybody.
We finally have someone up there who can
Yes.
run the department and work the department, and the water board is just stonewalling and, you know.
I think it's the stonewalling, fumbling. It's very frustrating to watch those meetings, to sit in there and watch them, and to have the commissioners come in to the meeting. And again, I have to say, I've got a lot of cooperation from Commissioner Delzell. With that, I have nothing else to say.
Any comment?
I fully agree that we have been dealing with, in the 4 years that I've sat here, we've had problems with the water board, and we've continued to have problems with the water board. And I can only reiterate what Bob said, that I had a leak at the house, and I addressed it, and I paid my water bill. And, you know, that's what happens. If you have a leak, your bill is going to go up and you're going to pay some extra dollars. And that's the way it is. I think it's horrendous that the way they're treating Mary Beth, and I think that we have to be concerned about it, and I think that we want to support her and hope that she'll stay on the job.
Yeah, I would hate to think what would happen if she decided that she didn't want to put up with it anymore and left.
Agree.
I mean, we would be in a world of hurt, I think.
And she has, just to follow up on that, she's done a tremendous job of working with a town administrator / procurement officer in terms of putting bid work together, working with the budget. I mean, they have a very complicated budget. Budget season's coming up. She sat in here. I've been in a number of the fiscal team meetings when she's come in and presented water issues, and she works very well with the fiscal team, and, you know, in terms of how we deal with the budget, things that need to be done, where money's going to come from. And we're getting into budget season after the first of the year. To be perfectly honest with you, I have absolutely no idea how she's going to sit down with that board as their attitude presently exists and work up a budget that's going to make any sense. Their priorities seem to be nothing like what everyone else perceives the priorities need to be for the water department. I mean, they have a very real possibility of a hefty rate increase. Mm-hmm. At last week's meeting, our meeting, and prior meetings at the water board, it's and I'll reiterate the figures tonight. I read them last week at the water board meeting. Mary Beth put together she went back for fiscal 2013, which was November of 2012. They had unpaid bills at that year for $26,029.
Now, this is revenue owed the department.
This is revenue owed to the department from July 1st to November 1st of 2012. The next year, FY 2014, fiscal year 2014, as of the same date, that figure went from $26,000 to $94,423. This past November, which is 2014, for FY15, that same account is $106,000 in the hole. I mean, we're getting worse here. It's a horrendous figure. If this amount of money doesn't get collected, we got a problem. Number one, means the bills are going to have to go up in the future. But at the, come the end of the fiscal year, when the state sets our tax rate, they ask us, how much does the water department owe? Anything the water department owes comes out of our funds, our free cash, which means our departments, the rest of the town departments suffer. And yet they just don't seem to, to understand what's going on here. And you talk to them, and she talks to them, and that's why I'm really, really concerned at this point as we enter the budget season that, they're going to come up with a huge deficit. Not her fault. She's advising them and advising us of what the situation is. And as I understand it, a lot of that, there was some question about them having extra money, but that was because they built all those condos up at the country club and over here on Main Street, and they all had to individually pay large hookup fees. So that kind of bailed them out of the fact that the water rates in the state has the same concern when they set the budget this year, that our water rates are not supporting the water department budget. And they let it go this time, but I'm sure they're gonna, we need to have a rate study. We need to, there's some real in-depth work that needs to be done up there, and it just seems to be going right over their heads. So I would just ask people to watch the meetings, go to the meetings, write letters. It's your water department, and you're going to pay the bills. We're going to pay the bill. We're all residents here. We all.
Well, I think you're right, David. It's not only going to be the water users that have to pay the bill. It'll be the taxpayers that have to step up if the funding is not there to run the department.
Exactly.
The Department of Revenue is not going to play around.
No, you don't set the tax rate. We're all in the glue. So,
Yep.
just I wanted to bring the board up to date on that, and let the public know, because this board's been fighting this for 4 years, and we've done as much as we can do. They're independently elected water commissioners. We can't fire them. I'd like to, but we can't. And it's up to the public to put some pressure on them and to make this thing work. And time is short. There isn't a lot of time here, so it needs to be.
It's not like this board has looked the other way. This board has been involved.
Yeah.
And it's time townspeople need to get involved and watch what's going on up there.
Absolutely. So with that, I'm done, Mr. Chairman, for tonight.
Okay, well, Jack, you got any comment?
I've been on the board almost 9 years, and been a lot of issues down there. Still going, not getting better. Right now, I haven't been I used to chase the meetings around, but people quitting. I've been on the board. I don't have to speak up and say what has been done. Been a lot of big issues going on down there. You got a new superintendent. She does know what she's preparing, what she's doing.
Mm-hmm.
And if you didn't have this girl in there running it, I think you'd probably have to shut down there and hire a private outfit to come in. We were talking, 2 years ago, of hiring Penachek to come in. At least they come in, they're doing our billing, and a lot of money out there owed. It's around 170, I thought I heard last week. Was owed the
They had
department.
$54,000 come in about approximately in the month of November. So that number has dropped from 161,000 down to approximately 106,000. So something.
So it has changed, and
Yes.
since
But
with-
still, it's
But we're still
Way
above
out.
what we were last year. Last year was $94,000, and now it's still hovering at 106. And as Selectman Peterson said, it's the town that dip in to pay this. And then, we know what it's like when we have to sit at this table and we have to do the budgets. It's a long process, and we have a $15 million, approximately $14 to $15 million budget, and $5,000 here, $10,000 here doesn't seem like a lot of money. When you're putting a budget in, it's a $15 million budget. That's a lot of money.
It is.
and most of that treatment plant budget that was put together this year was basically guesswork.
Yes.
And now she's with the figures she's got on chemicals and electrical figures and, all the various figures to run, as well as it's gonna require some additional personnel probably, so if we're not collecting money, as well as we're gonna have an increase in either staffing or expenses just to run that plant. And we don't have any choice there. We've got to be able to run that plant or the state's gonna shut our water system down. So, you know, they need to get their act together, and we need help.
Need the public's help.
Absolutely.
Well, I think the basic thing is the board's gotta start getting together here and one going this way, one here, and whatever.
And worry about the important things and forget about some of the other
Little,
garbage stuff that she gets paid to do on a daily basis, and stop second guessing every little expense she has and every little thing she does.
And again, that's why it's important for, you know, we're talking to you at home, to watch these meetings. I mean, you can hear it in our voices, we're frustrated.
Right. And if you get a chance, send a letter.
Yes.
Tell them what you think. I mean,
Send
watch
a
the
letter or
meeting,
go to the meetings.
watch
See
the
it live.
meetings, go to the meetings, send a letter, make a phone call, just get your feelings out there. It's the public's drinking water, and the public needs to respond.
Thank you.
They really do. So. Okay, yes, Larry?
Mr. Chairman, can I make a couple of comments? on
Yes, Larry.
what David said. First,
Yeah.
I support what David said fully. I cannot understand the priorities that the water commissioners are operating under. I was home when they flushed the water hydrant at Arbor Way, and that water was brown coming out. It was disgusting. Fortunately, it was past my house, so I fortunately don't think that I drank any of it. But also, if the townspeople will realize that the $100,000 is like another $50 a year added to your water bill, on top of the increases that are going to happen that we know about. And there are further increases on the maintenance of the water plant, as far as some of the testing that has to be done outside, some of the other things that were not planned for. So you have a bunch of other hidden costs that are necessary, that have to be budgeted for, and consequently are going to affect the rates. So if people were disappointed at the rate structure last year, they should get involved more with the water department and the commissioners in the meetings to have an effect on the water rates. And I also wanted to say that this week they attached 55 shut-off notices to various customers or so, but you know, that's an awfully high amount of people that are thinking that they can either not pay their water bill or have the town subsidize them or whatever type of a thing. But on the flip side of things, I also want to thank Debbie and a lot of the part-time people that have been going down to the water department and keeping the front office open, taking bills, doing some other work down there, which has freed up some of the superintendent's time. But you know, that has been a very good effect that a lot of the other towns employees have been able to help out down there and at least ease some of her concerns where she can devote more of her time to being a superintendent and not answering phones and collecting water bills. But I would encourage people not only to watch what's going on, but to become more active and come to the meetings, or if nothing else, write your concerns. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other comments?
Just to follow up what Larry said, I think what Larry said about the other people going up there and working up there and the work that the town administrator does and the effort that certain members of this board have put in. I mean, the whole town is trying to solve this problem. The whole town, except for the water board, they seem to be on a different tangent and on a different, some kind of a different game plan. And we've reached a point where we're here saying this because it's an emergency. We're facing an emergency. The winter's coming. We did finally get the road up there. Hopefully that'll get us through the winter, and that's going to have to be a permanent solution in the spring. But there's so many issues up there that haven't been dealt with, and the water superintendent now is trying to deal with them, and she needs help. She needs help from the water board, she needs help from this board, she needs help from the other town departments. And without their help, she's going to fail, and she's a very conscientious person, and it's taking its toll on her personally, and we can't have that.
One of the things I've seen over the years, frankly, looking at the commission, that their job is oversight, not to manage. They hired a manager, just oversight. And this is dating back to 4 or 5 years ago, and I saw a lot of control by the commissioners in doing the management portion. That's not the job of a commission or board of selectmen or anything else, one of these boards or commissions. It's oversight strictly. Very frustrating.
Here comes somebody now. Yes, sir. How are you this evening?
How are you?
Good. Just leave that open just a crack for us.
Pardon me?
Leave that just open just a crack for us. Thank you. I'm assuming you have something to tell us.
Are we on the air?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, I just turned the TV. Well, my name is Steve Cassiotis. I'm from Raleigh, Newbury Road here, and I was just sort of hunkering down for the evening. I turned on the Selectmen's meeting, and I thought that the water problem was all finished business. And then I hear, well, I'm kind of, I don't know what's going on or anything other than what I heard from you guys tonight. Is it operational? Is that fully functional? That new treatment plant?
It does not have its permanent occupancy permit.
Can I say something? A week ago, just for, I don't want to say it on TV, but for the hell of it, I called, where was it? The name of the Pennachuck, whatever it is. I says, is that place fully functional? Oh yeah, if everything's fine over there. It's been running fine since August.
Oh, it's right. The plant is running. It's pumping out water
Into the system.
It's pumping water into the system. It's all the other peripheral stuff that goes with it. The flushing of the hydrants, the final DEP approvals. So it is fully operational.
Oh, it is.
What we're trying to deal with here is, we're talking about, you saw part of it, I'm sure, is that the water board is just, there's other issues besides just the treatment. The treatment plant's one of a large number of issues down there that we need to be dealing with. And I'm not gonna go through them all again now, but you can watch the meeting.
All right, and I don't know what they are or anything, but
we need people like yourself, interested citizens, to get a little bit excited and go to the meetings and let the water board know that you're not happy.
My blood pressure's up right now, I'll tell you.
Don't have.
And the thing that really frustrates me is when all them things were going on, shenanigans, I heard that word used here tonight, when it was going on, when everything was in the prime of all the problems, and I says, okay, this is it, it's all out in the public. you're not gonna, I come down early because I figured I want to get a parking space downtown hall because I figured the whole town would be here. I'm the only one here. I says, where's the outrage? Nothing? Are you kidding me?
Well, we're hoping to create some of it tonight. We just want people to understand that as we get into the budget season here and as we get into other issues with the water department, that, you know, and we want to be strongly supportive of what the superintendent's trying to do. She's trying to do the right thing, but she can't work alone, and she can't do her job if she's fighting her board as well as all the issues that need to be.
She's very good.
Like I say, she may not be perfect, but she's certainly got the knowledge, and she's trying extremely hard to get things straightened out and working. And she's working with everybody except the water board is putting roadblocks for her. So.
Well, I understand. Then I was on my way out the door, and my wife says to me, "Wait a minute, Stephen, you better listen to finish the whole story." And they were saying that you can't terminate these people, you can't fire them. Well, I mean, something's got to be able to be done about it.
Well, that's why you need to make a lot of noise. I mean, they're elected officials.
Well, let me say this. If the whole town came down here and says, okay, we've all had it, okay, well, you still can't fire them. Now what? Now where does it go?
Well, yeah, you could always have a recall election. That's an involved process, but we're trying to just get everything off of square one and support the work she's doing and the work that we need to have done on our behalf so that we don't reach that point.
Well, can we make changes, or can you guys make changes? 5 selectmen that run the town, make the lady that's in charge, let her hire.
We've been doing as much as we can do. We go to the meetings, we open up. If you watch the past water, I don't know if you ever watched the water board meetings. I'm there speaking on a weekly basis. Bob Snow speaks almost on a weekly basis.
I know when the selectmen's meetings
Larry's always there. Many times he opens up and asks questions and talk. We're all trying to do this, and you know, we don't want to get into it tonight, but
I understand
we're hitting a roadblock here, and this is why we are looking for the townspeople's help to help us solve this problem, because we don't have the legal authority to settle it on our own.
I think a good way of looking at this, I've sat on the board for 7 years. Out of those 7 years, 4 of them, I have been involved at the issue of the issue up there. I mean, there's something wrong. There's something dysfunctional. You have to spend 4 years out of a 7-year term.
Believe me, you guys are great.
Steve, thanks for coming down here tonight. And you know, it's not just you. There's other people. As I said, I go through Market Basket. And I go through Shaw's, and people see me and they take me aside, and the questions start. Phone call at home, and I'm glad. I want more of you.
But I don't know. I'm just beside myself that nothing can be done about it. I mean,
just you being here and saying that is support, and we don't need at this point. Just keep it up and go to the next January 13th. Here's the water board meeting.
If enough people object, the commissioners maybe would feel a moral obligation to resign, and at that point, the selectmen could appoint a temporary water commissioner until elections come.
Like, I know when you guys meet every Monday, but it's like the planning board, Board of Appeals, or water, there's never a set date, you know, like second Wednesday of every month or something like that. So you never really know where they are. If you're channel surfing one of, you know, you might get lucky and see if they have a repeat.
That's why we're saying tonight, the 13th of January is the next meeting.
Well, I'll be down. I
Thank
assure you I'll be there with bells on.
Thank you.
Left over from Christmas.
And bring a friend.
I will. Believe me, if I could bring the whole town, I'd bring the whole town. You know, it's absolutely absurd.
I mean,
it really is.
Everybody at home, you've hired us, basically, to run the town, okay? And we do our very best at this table.
I couldn't agree with you more.
For the town. And it's just frustrating when you have a commission that constantly, where, you know, again, like I said, out of my 7 years as a selectman, 4 has been one thing after another.
Crazy, absolutely crazy.
And now we have a very competent superintendent, and then like I was talking about the issue about the flushing, and there was like this pushback. Who knows better? The commissioners or the superintendent they hired?
Superintendent, I would
The
think.
superintendent. The superintendent says we need to flush. We need to flush.
Couldn't agree with you more.
And then I think it's a proven point. Larry, you saw the water. We had pictures of the water that came out. It needed to be flushed. Superintendent, as far as I'm concerned, was absolutely correct in her judgment.
How are they allowed to meddle in her job when she?
Well, that's something I'm very frustrated with. Again, it's oversight. That's what the commission is about, not about the day-to-day operation of the water system.
Is she getting any cooperation from anybody over there?
I would suggest, Mr. Chairman, at this point, without, we terminate this, not to cut Mr. Cassiotis off, but we're not here tonight to run the water department.
No.
We want to bring it to everybody's attention, and we appreciate you coming down.
Yeah.
Steve, thank you.
Well, thank you for your
Needs to be
time.
addressed with the
Appreciate
water
it.
commissioners.
And I'll be there the 13th. And I wish you all a very Merry Christmas.
Thank you, you
And a Happy
too.
New
Bring
Year.
your concerns up to the water.
I will. I'll be there. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dave.
Have a good day.
Okay, our next item agenda is minutes for September 29th, 2014. Has everybody had a chance to read them?
Yeah.
Any concerns, questions, changes, mistakes?
Give you a motion, Mr. Chairman?
Motion made
Second.
and seconded. All those in favor of accepting the minutes of September 29th, 2014 signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. Announcements.
If I could ask your indulgence, Mr. Chairman, before you get into the announcement section, as as we have mentioned several times tonight, we're getting into budget season, and I would just like to make offer a reminder to the board that the school department will start hearings January 12th through the 15th on their proposals from the principals of the elementary schools, the middle school, and the high school for the next fiscal year budget. So they'll be starting the hearings the week of January 12th each night. I think Pine Grove is on the first night, and then the schools will be meeting with the school committee. And I would ask that I would like to get an agenda item on and to ask that Senator Tar be invited to one of our meetings so that we can find out just what is going on at the state and what we can expect budget-wise. And I would also like to invite Representative Brad Hill to come to the meeting with the school committee members to so that we can talk about budget issues. I think we're going to be in for a tough year, and we have to get a head start on talking about these. We should also maybe address the issue of the three towns getting together, the boards of selectmen.
Okay.
Thank you for allowing me that.
Thank you.
Any further comments on that from anybody?
Sound plan.
Yeah. I think we need to do something. We really do, particularly on the state level. We gotta find out what we're gonna get and what we're not gonna get. Okay, announcements. Flu shots are available to Raleigh residents on Mondays and Wednesdays from 2 to 4 p.m. at the Annex. Contact the Council on Aging or the Board of Health Department for more information. The town has the following vacancies: fence viewer, 3 positions, wood, lumber, and bark inspector, and zoning board of appeals associate, 2 open seats, historical commission, historic district commission, 2 seats, parks and recreation committee, 2 seats. For more information on these positions, please contact the Selectmen's office at 948-2372. Raleigh Food Pantry is in need of donations. The food pantry is open Tuesdays from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. and Thursdays from 5:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. And donations can also be dropped off at the library, but that will then deliver them to the pantry. Okay, that's all I have.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
As a motion to adjourn takes priority, we will vote on a motion to
Bob,
adjourn.
second.
All those in
Yeah,
favor,
give it
signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.
Everyone have a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Yes, very, very.
A very, very.
Happy New Year, because we won't be meeting till next year again.